All right, so I think we're going to get started. Looks like we've got a few people in class today. Thank you very much for coming. As I said before, my name is Ian. I am the trainer today. I've been training with SDAR and SDMLS out in the field for probably now the last 8 or so months. However, before that, I worked in tech support. So if you are a longtime member, you may have spoken to me if you've called in to tech support. I worked there since about 2014, so I've got a lot of information that I can share with you about the MLS. Now, on your screen, I know that there are a lot of different options. There's a chat, there's also the question and answer. If you can, please, I'd like for you to use the question and answer, if you wouldn't mind. This way, I will be notified right away on my screen that there is a question, and I can go ahead and look at it, read it, and get it answered, okay? Or of course, sometimes I may let you know we're almost there. I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but I will do my best to answer all those questions as they come in. Okay, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So bear with me just a moment here while I click on this button. Great, here we are. Okay, so today's class, just to confirm, is the Friday CMA class. And this Friday, we're going to start with CRS Tax. We're going to show you how to do a Remine CMA, as well as dip into Flash CMA. And if we have some time, I'm also going to show a quick CMA in Paragon, basically the same as we went over last week. However, since I think that is the most common CMA, the quick CMA in the Paragon system, I'm going to go over that one as well. We'll do that at the very end. So first things first, here we are on the SDAR dashboard, and I want to point out just a couple of items on this page because I think they're really useful. Now, hopefully today you most likely found out about this class because of going to the education calendar, and and thank you very much for all of you coming. I still see some numbers, the participants joining in. Anyway, thank you all for being here. So let's come up. Remember, the education button on sdar.com has a few great options, but I do want to highlight the calendar. If you go to the education calendar, you're going to find all of the upcoming webinars, all of the upcoming classes, that we have in all of our service centers throughout the county. So definitely look here for more information on those upcoming classes. Now, over here under the MLS link, you're going to find a great resource right here, Paragon training videos. I'm even going to go ahead and click on that for you. I am very happy with these because I created these videos. So I know that they are very precise and they're going to go through and give you step-by-step details. We are always adding new videos, but if you come here, you're going to see several that you can choose from. If you see there is a CMA section here, this is referring to the CMA module in the Paragon system. There is a quick CMA tutorial here as well. And as I said, we talked about that last Friday, and we will go over it a little bit at the end of this class as well. So just remember, from sdar.com, we always have our education and MLS links right there for you. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and click on to the Realtor login. And also, just as a reminder, as I log in here for anyone that has just recently jumped in, that I know that you have a chat and also the Q&A. If you wouldn't mind, please use the Q&A if you have any questions. It will alert me right away so I can see that I have to attend to something as opposed to in the chat. That would just really help me out a lot. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And as I said before, I will get to those questions as soon as I can. Most likely, I will read them out because I'm sure you're not the only one that has that question. So I always like to read them out and then give you a good answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and get logged in. Your dashboard may look a little different. Well, of course, everyone right now is seeing this. And it's just reminding you that we have new stats available here on the dashboard on this side. All right. And as I was saying, a few items on here you will not have. That's okay. What we are going to do is I'm going to point out a few other items. Today we're going to talk about CRS data, the tax system, and how to get a good CMA from it. There is also Remine. And sometimes people miss that icon over here, but it's right over there on the right-hand side, and that's Remine. This program also provides a CMA option. Now, there's Flash CMA. That's the next the next program that we will talk about. And as I mentioned before, we will dip into Paragon to show you the quick CMA again. But believe it or not, that's not all of the programs that you can use to get a good comparative market analysis. And I apologize for any that I have not actually said that out completely. The CMA is a comparative market analysis. There are lots of abbreviations that you will hear with STAR and SDMLS and all kinds of other different things. And I'm sure so many other different acronyms that you have as realtors. And so I'll do my best to make sure I actually say it out, at least in the beginning, so we all know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and get started first by clicking into CRS data. And I do want to show you a couple of things here. We're on the dashboard, so we have the icon right here, and we can just click right on it. And we're going to get into our main CRS tax page. As always, your branding will be on the top left, your settings in the top right, your property search here, and your power prospecting. Also, I believe I am teaching a class on CRS tax, I believe next Wednesday or Thursday. So we can check the calendar at the end of class. Definitely check that if you need to learn more about CRS tax. Just very quick and brief, I'm going to call up a property. Now, generally speaking, when you're doing a CMA, you have a property in mind. Maybe you want to get comps on your home. Maybe a prospective client, comes to you and says, well, what can I get from my home? What should we list this for? So again, there are a few different systems. This is just one of them. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to look up the subject property. So I'm clicking into this field and I'm just simply going to type the address. I recommend typing the address out rather than copying and pasting. As you see here, the system is automatically going to start searching for anything that matches. So once you have enough written in, I'd say let's just go ahead and take the mouse and click. Had we tried to type all that out and typed in the word circle, we technically wouldn't have found the match because the system only has it with CIR. That's why I recommend usually typing in less information rather than more. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on here. And our property report is going to come up. We see the pictures in the map, but there is the property report as we scroll down. Now, I want to bring your attention just really to what's right here at the top, because believe it or not, there's a button right here that says comparables. And the easiest way to get a comp from this particular system would be to simply click on this button. We're going to first click on here, and the page is going to refresh. That's great. Again, we have the property address, the average cost per square foot. And I want you to take notice that, yes, here's the price per square feet, and it says 18 comps. Now, as we scroll down, we're going to see that it's found 18 comps, or at least rather, I should say that this number is based upon the 18 comps that it found from our search. On this side of the screen, you'll see the estimated market price for the home, but these are all different, obviously. Now, this is the estimated market price based on the average cost per square foot. So if you were to take this number and then times it by the number of square feet in the home, which is around 2,100, you would get this number. Okay. Now, this number, this price is based on the house price index, as opposed to this one here. It looks like on the average sales price over the tax assessment ratio. This one here is the home improvement value. So as you can see, there's even a range within these qualifiers. So just general information for you to have, something to take note of. Also, a great option here, home improvement value calculation. If your home has remodels, has other, has improvements that you don't see or that you want to make sure you include, you're able to do that here at this point. Here's information on the market value calculation in case you need to show that out to your clients, as well as information on the house pricing index. So that is also available to you as well. But let's continue on down. And again, we see the property and the map, but this time on the map, you're going to see the S for subject property. And of course, anytime you put the mouse over any of those items, it's going to give you information on the home and let you get into the full report if you need to. But we're going to see how where these homes are, and maybe if they qualify or if we need to remove them from our list of results. And I know that some homes, say maybe on this side of Pala Road, are maybe a little newer and shouldn't be in a comp, but that's something that we'd have to take a look at. So let's scroll down. I want to show you the other information that you get on this report. As you see, the sales price of the comps, this is the estimated market price for the subject. And again, if you come across here, this is based upon the comp. So obviously here's the subject and here are the other comps numbered from left to right. And the cost per square foot of the comps. And again, this is just to show where your subject property is against other homes like it in the neighborhood. This one seems to be right in between. So right in the middle of everything in that, at least out of the comps that it found. Now down here, you're going to get this message anytime there are more than 15 comps. It's usually a good idea to narrow down your list. Now, the system is using this basic criteria that you're seeing right here underneath the red to, they're basically using this to get those 18 comps that we found. You're always able to adjust this if you wish. If you, right now we're looking at plus or minus 1 bedroom. Now I know that the subject property has 5 bedrooms. So what that means is it's searching from 4 to 6, plus or minus 1 bedroom of the subject. And the same with the bathrooms. The subject property has 3 bathrooms. Well, technically, I guess 2.5 bathrooms. So this is going to look 1 above, 1 below. So if we're saying 3, this would be, so 2 to 4. It's looking within 3/4 of a mile and within the last 12 months. Now, some people would say that we should move this down to 6 months. And that may be a good option. We can do that by just simply clicking on the drop down as I did and then choosing the 6 months. Most appraisers are going to set a 6-month limit. And now, as far as the distance goes, 3/4 of a mile is pretty good. Some would go to a mile, some may stay at a half mile. Why don't we choose a half mile and click on Update Results? Let's see how that affects our numbers. Okay, so now we've dropped substantially. Now I'm going to scroll to the top so you can see here. We're now down to 4 comps. They are closer and definitely more recent. So let's look and see. Obviously now that has brought our price per square foot up, but maybe these are better comps because these are definitely more recent. Finally, down here at the bottom, once we get past the parameters, you're going to actually see the results. Your subject property is going to be first, and then the rest of your properties down the list. Now, it's kind of nice to have them here in columns like this because you can compare right away to see, okay, is this a comp? Should I remove this? And this home is much, much smaller. So this is something we should probably remove. Let's click this right here to select number 3, and we're going to remove checked. And then that item is removed. So let's say that these are our accurate comps, or at least so far they seem to be accurate. Maybe this home is a little bit older, because our subject property was only a couple years. So I think we're doing pretty good here. And again, you can qualify these in any way you wish. We can scroll through. We can look at other items about each home. We can even click on the address to view a report. This way, we can check to make sure that this really is an apples to apples match. We definitely don't want to have a comp on the list if it isn't a true match. Now, from what I can see here, this wouldn't be an exact match for the actual subject property. I'm again just going through the process of what you would want to do when you're working in this system. So when we clicked on our link on an address for this home, it opened up a new tab. And I want to show you that here way at the top. We're in this tab here. So you can leave that open and click back and come back into our original page of CRS Tax, and then click on the next property if you wish to see more. And that's going to open up yet another tab. So we'll have this property that we're looking at on this tab here. We still have that other property right here on this tab, and we've got our CRS list over here. So you can have them all open if you wanted to say open all 3 and go back and forth through those properties, really reading the minute details, maybe looking at the sales history, finding out what's going on with the home. Maybe you'll see, well, there's been one owner for a long time, and maybe you have new owners or new buyers, and so maybe you'll be able to work with them because they want to maybe sell to a young couple. You can use this information in all kinds of different ways. You really can. At any rate, you're going to want to qualify the home. You make sure that this really is truly a comp. Okay, now I'm going to take us back over to this tab, which is where all of our results are. Just notice that these comps are also sold comps. I know that they're sold because of the home being blue. Take a look at the color coding across the top. Just a little hint there to let you know that's the way to tell right away if the home is actually on the market for sale, pending, contingent, expired, or if there's some sort of distress on the home. Now, once you have this information here, of course, you can email it. We can save to a PDF, or you're welcome to print. Emailing is pretty simple. You're going to click on email, type in your address, or your client address, excuse me, I should say. You're typing in your destination address here. Your address, the from, is automatically going to be filled in. The subject line is automatically filled in as well. However, you can click in there and make changes. I think it's usually a good idea to customize in some way. This way your client really knows that it is from you. You can even put a personal note. And then if you wish to receive a copy, make sure to click into this box. Once you put in, you've typed your note, and we're going to simply click on send. You don't need to include a note. That is definitely optional. The only fields that are absolutely needed are the to and the from. All right, so I'm going to click on send. And now it's going to send that email. Perfect. The same options are available if you want to save. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and click on save. And you'll be able to save a PDF. Obviously, we don't need to go through that. And of course, this popping up on my screen is just that we received our email. And so it does go through fairly quickly. And of course, it's going to just have the information on those properties. We can save, we can also print. And I saved this for last so you can see what it actually looks like. So when you go to the printing option or emailing out, this is the report that is received. Your information, of course, is going to be here at the top, and that's the most important. And then the comp sales, and so on. And so that is a really quick CRS tax comp by just simply going to the address first and then clicking the comparables button. And yes, you do have a few options available here to change. However, you are very limited as to which options you're able to update. Let's go back up to the top. I want to show you the second option. Still here on the same address. Let's click on Custom Comparables. Now this is going to look a bit different, and we're going to see a lot of extra fields. So let's start scrolling down, and I want to show you each of them. First of all, let's again make note that we are starting with a subject. Parcel gives the address and the APN. Now, it wants us, rather than the system, to enter in all of the criteria. Now, again, we can enter in whatever is important to us, and not all of the fields are going to be needed. So while we will go through the majority of them, we don't need to necessarily fill in all of them. And some are easy. Obviously, we all know what city and zip and APN are. So what I would tend to focus on when doing a CMA in this system, or at least doing a custom comparable, would be to use the radius around the subject property. Let's go ahead and click on here, and we can choose our half mile, 3/4 of a mile, 1 mile, 2, 3. You can scroll down to choose up to 10. I honestly would never really choose anything more than one or maybe two. I mean, if you're in a really rural area, or if there are just absolutely no sales, that are similar to your home. Maybe you have a very unique property and there's nothing else like it in the neighborhood, but you usually don't want to go too much farther out, because that's a really wide radius, because you're remembering that this is 2 miles just in one direction away from your home. You got the other 2 miles in the other direction. So we're actually looking at like really 4 miles, like if we're really thinking about it, of possibility when you're looking at results. So generally want to stick with one or below. In this example, let's do a 1 first. We can always come back and reduce the radius if we have too many results. So now, since we are using this item, we don't need a zip code or a street name, or a subdivision or APN. You know, the other option is, say, maybe if you don't want to use a radius, if you only care, if you know that this is in a particular area, and I believe the subdivision is called Orchard Creek for this area. If you say, you know what, all the Orchard Creek homes were built at the same time. Here it is, Orchard Creek, Unit 1. So I care about these. I don't really care about the radius or whatever. I just want to see this one subdivision. So I'm going to type that in and choose this subdivision. That would be an appropriate option as well. Okay, so, and you can maybe do both and see how you receive better results. I mean, if you know that all of the homes in Orchard Creek Unit 1 are the same, then that would also mean you wouldn't really need to fill in specific information about the home, like the bedrooms or the bathrooms or things like that. You'd want to maybe focus on the last date of last sale, being no more than 6 months back. So let's use this as the example for just this neighborhood here, because we know all the homes are alike, and we want to look all the way back 6 months. We can click into this box and we're going to see a calendar, and we're just simply going to go back 6 months. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And then go back to the date. Today's date is the 21st. So there we are, 6 months back. And then if we wish, we could simply just hit submit. Now I'm sure you see that there are multiple submit buttons. You probably saw, well, you will see more as we scroll down. It doesn't matter which submit button you choose. All of the sections, or I believe there are the modules, will be included in your search. You won't need to click submit up here to get information for Orchard Creek and then come back and hit submit again. It's all one big search page, just lots of submit buttons, so that way you don't need to scroll to the top or bottom in order to complete your search when you're finished. And so now remember, again, in this scenario, we've typed in a specific, development or, neighborhood. So assuming everything is the same, we wouldn't really need any of these fields. We could just simply put that in, click on submit, get to our results, and we're going to see what has sold in that area in the last 6 months. And there we go. But in most cases, we're going to want to put in a little more detail. So I did want to show you that option, but we're going to go ahead and click on back. So, clicking the back arrow is perfectly fine when you are in the CRS system. It will literally take you back, just as you're seeing here. Never do that in Paragon, only in CRS Tax. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and do this 1 mile around the property, because that's usually what you're going to do in a comp. Let's scroll on down. We have our within the last 6 months. Let's continue down here. Property type. Let's go to residential. And you can scroll through your list, but I know that I want to look for residential, so I'm just typing it in. If we want to put on here as well, I believe this is where it's going to say single family home. That's the difference between property type and land use. And then we want to put any other important information like the bedrooms and the bathrooms and the square footage. So let's put in, this is a 5-bedroom house. So let's look for 4 to 5 bedroom homes. It's a 3-bathroom home. Let's make sure that there are just 3 bathrooms. And it was built in 81. So let's say from 1978, oops, sorry about that, 1978 to 1989. All right. So we can scroll, or basically no, this is the end here. If I just scroll down to the bottom, this is going to be the bottom of the page. So as we scroll down, here are our fields. We'll just need to go ahead and click on submit. And again, getting similar results, not a lot within the last 6 months, at least not for with this information. This would make us then decide, do we need to open up our criteria by say maybe we need to do 3 or more bedrooms and just have that completely and have that open. That would be a possibility. We can go ahead into this box and just remove that number. When we come back over here, let's click update results. And no, that didn't help. We still have only 2. So possibly there just weren't a lot of sales within the last within the last 6 months. I'd say let's expand this to 2 miles. Let's see and update our results. So now we're getting 7 comps. Now we're a little farther away, but this would mean that as we're going through here, we'd really want to look in and make sure that this home is exactly like ours if we want to be able to really have it qualify and explain, that yes, this home is a little farther away from from our subject property. However, it is an identical match, and the neighborhoods both have similar value. So therefore, we can use this as a comp. It may be a little harder to justify, but sometimes it is something that you need to do. Now, maybe you want to click on map view here and see where those comps are. And maybe that will help decide right away. Because if you say, okay, well, no, those neighborhoods are different way up here next to Camp Pendleton, so that's not going to really work for me. So we really do need to keep it within that smaller radius. Now, by doing that, we're going to lose most of those results, but then what we have is going to be much more accurate. And that's really what is most important when you're putting together a CMA. Okay, so I will show you as we just scroll through on this particular report, you will get the calculations at the bottom. Obviously, the average, median, high, and low. They're pretty easy to figure out on this case because there are only 2. So obviously the high and the lower are going to stand out. But those averages are provided for you as well. Just like before, if you needed to remove something, you can select it and remove. And if we click on the comparable report, that is just simply going to take us over here back into this simple page that can be printed. The only other option on this page, obviously, we showed you the comparable report and the printing, because that's exactly what it will look like to print, but you can also export the list. And it's going to export into an Excel worksheet with all of the different fields separated into a spreadsheet report for you. So that is the CRS tax comps. Okay, and again, I see there's a lot of people that joined in. Thank you so much for coming. Any questions, please put them into the Q&A section. I will be able to see that pop up on my screen right away and get to your questions. Otherwise, I'm going to continue on into the next program because we have very little time and a lot to discuss. So that all in all was CRS Tax. Now I'm going to switch over to another program called Remine. And I showed you that really quickly on the dashboard. And I'm just closing my empty tabs, coming back to the one here that says SDMLS. That one is always going to get you back to your dashboard. And also, just as a quick tip, so we've closed out of all of those other screens, but this is the page where you're actually logged in. So no matter what else you close out of, always make sure you come here, click on your name in the top right corner. This is the true log out to make sure that you really are out of the system and no one else can just come up to your computer and click on this link. Clicking the other items, just close you out of those individual programs, but this is going to log you right back in. So always just remember that's on the page for your security. Okay, great. So Remine is next. Let's go ahead and click on here. Now, when Remine opens, this box comes up in the middle. We need to click on it. Also, as it's taking its time here opening up, I will let you know that some of the filters that you are going to, or I'm not really going to go over filters today because we're not teaching Remine, but just in general, if you come back into play in this system in the discovery section, that's where we're going today to do a search and also to do our comps. But you'll notice these filters. Some of those filters are an extra charge by Remine. So I apologize if there are some that you want that you're not able to use. But I would encourage you to go through and use the ones that are free and get the most out of this program. I actually like this program a lot because it has a lot of information from the tax system and also schools. And anyway, I think it has a lot of great data. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the same address that we had previously. And again, like before, as you start typing in, you're going to find the address. And I'd say to go ahead and just simply click on it. Okay, wait a second. It looks like there was a question. I didn't see it here. Oh, it was over in the that popped up in the chat. So bear with me a second here. The Remine button is actually here on your dashboard. So when you first got logged in, it's this one way over here on the right-hand side. All right, there we go. I think that handles that. So let's click back over here. So once Remine opens, it always starts on its dashboard, or homepage, whatever you want to call it, which is the daily section, and all of its options are going to be here on the left. And all I did from the time that this opened was just come over and we're going to click on Discover. And again, this is just where you can go to do general searches in this particular system. Now, we did our search before. Whenever you do, it highlights the property, which is kind of nice, and also puts it right over here and highlights the square. So it makes it really easy to find, I think. So let's go ahead and click on the property. And we're going to get to a property report. And, if I scroll through, and actually I can for you really quickly here, not too fast. I don't want you to get dizzy looking at the screen just flying by. But as you look at this, you're going to see it's really similar to the, to the CRS tax report. It's pretty useful. I actually kind of like this a lot. And just so you can see what is available. And again, I admit this is an upgraded version. So you may see some things that are a little different on this page that you may not see on yours. For instance, at the very bottom, one thing that this system provides or can provide would be phone numbers and associated people for the home if that information is available. Obviously, this person doesn't have phone numbers available, so there's nothing there. This person and this person, they both do. I've also seen social media like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn in here. So there's a lot of data that they have available. So at any rate, I just show you this because there is all of this information for you to read and for you to see when you're doing a CMA, because you want to make sure again that you're getting an accurate comparison when you do your search. All right, so let's once again, I think I'm getting another question here. So are all the apps the same thing? Well, so doing a CMA in general is a search. It's a search around a certain property. Now, each program is going to give you different features and it's going to find different results. So we found those two properties or so in CRS Tax. Maybe we'll find more here. Maybe we'll find different homes. It's going to use different criteria, the same as with Flash CMA. And then, of course, going into Paragon, there's also RPR. There are a lot of other programs. That's why I kind of teach these classes every Friday, because there's so many different programs, because it truly is just a search. So it's hard to say if I like one more than the other. I teach all of them because they all have different benefits. So CRS Tax, super quick and easy. You can click on a button and just get some comps on your screen and then customize it, within a few minutes. Like obviously I took a little longer, but I was showing you more of the details. Now that's super, super fast. This one here is another one that's really, really fast because it's similar to tax. The one thing, and again, that's over here. Once you have your report pulled up, we're going to go ahead and click on to add next to CMA. And from this point, like I said, Remine is kind of nice. It puts together a nice, concise report. Also very, very, quick and easy. As you see on this page, in my opinion, I think that it makes this range way too broad. That it's going one lower than the home because it's a 5-bedroom home, and going 2 up, and doing the same thing for the bathrooms. Now, it is only searching a really small area, and so chances are the homes are going to be alike. So, it's really, up to you. I think it's a better option to change this number, at least to something I think more reasonable for the home, possibly add the square footage. At the same time, again, each system has its own algorithm and will work a little differently. So I would also kind of encourage you to let it do its thing, see what the results are, and then if we get too much, come back and make the adjustment. So again, that's kind of a little bit about this system. But then Flash CMA, which you'll note, I love Flash CMA because it's the only system that talks about adjustments and not only gives you the adjustment and says your subject property has this or doesn't have this in comparison to the subject property. Not only does it do that, but it assesses a dollar value. And after speaking to the owner and creator of Flash CMA, he basically explained to me that he's getting information in from the MLS, and they're taking, the square foot of, say, if there are 2 homes next to one another, and there's a 3-bedroom and a 4-bedroom, and they're calculating the square footage and dividing and doing such to get what a value of a room is in a particular area, as opposed to some other place, or what living in a cul-de-sac would be worth. And again, this is just based upon, sale information that it's receiving from the MLS, and it's, crunching the data to try to figure all of it out. And so, some people say, well, are those numbers exactly accurate? Well, you know what, there's no way really to know exactly. And it, unfortunately, you can only get for a home what someone is willing to pay. And truly knowing your neighborhood is the best CMA. My goal is to hopefully teach you how to use the system or these systems to get information to basically make it easier to get an accurate comp. Because ultimately, you're going to have to evaluate any information that's found here in the system and say, okay, well, wait, it's telling me that this is accurate, but I'm not really sure I think this particular one is. So let's remove, let's remove, these homes, because that's not really going to work. And again, that's kind of, again, why I like to use so many different systems, because, and also have a pen and paper next to you as well. I did not mention that, but I think that's always good. And hopefully you do now, since we're in class. But just jot down, what you found in each system, and put together your own CMA of a collection of homes that you found from multiple systems. Once you have everything together, we can paste everything together in Paragon, or even a few other systems if you need to. I think even Flash CMA would allow you to enter, kind of put together your own CMA if you have an MLS number. So let me hit search here. Again, it's a very basic search on here. We can go back through to add other criteria, but I like to always hit search and on any system to see what it's going to find and what it really thinks is important. I got another question about what system is used by appraisers. There are some appraisers that are members of the local associations, so they would of course have access to all of these. I can tell you, because I am nosy, I had my home was appraised recently, and when the appraiser was here, I asked him, I was like, hey, what do you use to get a good comparison? And I started telling him, I work for the MLS and such, and he was telling me the name of a couple of, the system that he primarily uses, but I had not heard of it. And he was like, yeah, no, there are lots of them out there. So kind of as I was saying a little bit ago, there are lots of them out there, because a CMA, or a comparative market analysis, is really truly just a search. And what it comes down to is what criteria, and like in this system here, this is the criteria right now we're using, and it's providing these results with this criteria. If we put this exact criteria inside of, say, our taxist, CRS Tax, I would presume we would get the exact same results, because they're working with similar information. Remine and CRS Tax, they're both getting information from the MLS and also from the assessor's office, from their own respective companies, but getting information essentially from the assessor's office. So information, in those two searches would be the same. Oh, and I remembered one other pointer about the differences between the systems, or which one you'd want to use rather than the other. So one thing that Remine and CRS Tax will have on, I guess, over any other system, whether it be Flash CMA or even in Paragon, those two, Remine and CRS, have tax data. So if a home has transferred, between, family members, or if it was sold off the market, those are going to be here and included in your list of results in the closed section. If there was just an intra-family transfer, or some sort of, or like a pocket listing that never made it to the MLS, then that's never going to show up in the MLS because it wasn't there. So that is another advantage of looking through CRS Tax and Remine. So that's just another thing to kind of keep in mind. So again, getting back to this program here, We put in just very basic criteria. I only customized the bedrooms and the bathrooms, and we did it within a quarter mile. And it found 8 in total, 1 active, 6 closed, 1 pending. Usually that's a pretty good number to get started with. And then, of course, as always, we can qualify these results to make sure, is number 1 over here really a good match? Well, so that's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Let's see, and the square footage looks to be a little bit low, so let's remove this item. I don't think that's actually a good match. And then as we scroll through it, just as I'm looking at the square footage for all of these homes, I'm not really impressed with the square footage, which again could be why we're not finding as many items. Now, I use this home in question to make it difficult, and so I can kind of show you obviously what you are going to come across. In most cases, you're going to see way too many results, and you're going to need to really go through and remove several. Why? The reason that we're not seeing a lot of matches is because the home in question has an addition put onto it. So there aren't a lot of homes. Oops, sorry, as I'm clicking on the button here, it's moving over here. I apologize. I didn't mean to make that move up and down on your screen. So the home in question is a little different than the homes in the neighborhood. It has an extra bathroom and an extra bedroom that was added on. So it's going to be a little different than some of the other comps. Now, again, this is why it's really important to know the neighborhood and also take your time and click on here to these addresses to really look at the home and figure out whether or not this truly is an accurate comp. Judging, of course, by the square footage, also by how remodeled it is, the exact location, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. There's a lot to look into if there are any, major upgrades. All things to consider when doing your comp. So again, you're going to come through and we're going to decide which ones we want to include. And let's say, no, we don't want that one. Okay, yeah, that one is good. This one is good. Let's remove one more closed listing. Let's see, let's go back up here. Maybe we'll get rid of that one. Okay, so we've got 1 active, 3 closed, and 1 pending left on our list. When you think, okay, these are really accurate. Now, obviously, again, just as a reminder, your criteria that we're using is here at the very top of the page. And this is why we're seeing these 8 results. If you want, we can click on Edit Criteria. That's going to take us right back in over here if we wish to put in more information. Now, remember, had I put in the limit of 1900 or so, we would still be down to our 2 results, just like we were in the CRS Tax program, most likely seeing the same properties, just because there are so few within that range. And just to see again, so the criteria, the number of results is here, the search information is here, and then edit criteria will be right here above the map next to save. That'll take us back into the criteria. And if we do change anything, we want to come back down here to click apply. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and choose a half mile. Let's see if we can find more accurate results, because really that's what we're looking for, are accurate results, not a high number of results. Let's click apply. Great. And just while that's thinking, just take note here, market value range is here at the top, 540. Oh, I'm sorry, that was 545. Now it has changed due to the fact that we now have 21 properties within the half mile. Now, of course, I know the neighborhood because I used to live there, and I know that the neighborhood up here is different, and the homes I think that are over here are a little different as well. So, and judging, and also the fact that this home has an addition put onto it, so making it different than others. It says that someone was having trouble. There's an advertisement. Check the zoom level on your screen. If something is blocking your edit button, there shouldn't be any other advertisement on this particular page. Possibly, I mean, if you need to, maybe close out of Remine and then just come right back over and open it up again. I'm not sure if you're talking about the one that the error that came up, or sorry, not the error, but the message that came up on this page. There should be a little X, I think, to close out over there. Okay, good, good, good. All right, excellent. Let's click back over here. So again, like I was saying, sometimes you may get a lot of results or a few. Oops, sorry about that. I inadvertently clicked on the map. I really apologize for jumping around like that. Sorry. So sometimes you may get a lot, and then we are going to need to go through and remove certain properties because we don't want to have 21 properties on a list. That's way too many. Maybe we just want to see the active ones all at once. So I apologize for this popping up on the screen. And so let's just look at the active ones and get an apples to apples for the actives. Let's see. Okay, this one is too small. Let's remove it. And these seem to be about the right size. These two are a little bigger, but they've got the same amount of bedrooms. So maybe we'll keep those on the list. Or maybe we'll remove this one because it's a little bigger, but it doesn't have the extra 5th bedroom. So maybe we'll remove that one. Now let's go to the under contract. And it looks like it's a little bit bigger, but it's the only one we have under contract. Maybe we want to keep it in the list. Maybe we don't. It's something for you to consider. 12 closed. So that's where we're going to have a lot. So this one is much, much smaller, much smaller. And again, in the neighborhood, the home started out this size. So let's see, do we have any that are in range? So these are a little bigger because we're looking for about 2,100. That's probably a little too big. Let's just say we're going to leave on the 2,300, and we'll leave these 17s on the list as well. So we've got 6 closed properties. We probably don't need quite 6. So let's maybe get that down to maybe 4, maybe 3. It really depends on your neighborhood. And you also, too, the more exact, like if there truly is an exact match, make sure you keep it on because you're going to get a more exact price for, or at least a sample price for your home. 1 second, looks like we have a question here. Yeah, so for limiting to detached properties, that would be, let's see here, in the criteria, let's scroll on down. On this page, you can add square footage, year built, number of floors, lot size, basement, garage, and here we go, building type. Let's scroll down a little bit more. So building type, and then that's going to be single family home. And although technically a condominium is a type of ownership, what this is essentially an attached building. And then, of course, townhome, multifamily. Other, in this system, I've seen them listed sometimes as in commercial, but it really can be anything else. But at least the question that I received was for the detached homes, and that will be right here, single family. And just so you can see the other fields, there are other statuses that you can, that you have. There are all of them here for you. If you want to know what maybe has gone off the market recently so you don't overprice your home, that may be a great option as well. And then again, the time frame. Right now, we are looking back at the 6 months. That is defaulted in the system, and just a half mile. Let's apply and get back to our results again. And so before there was 21, now we're down to 18. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and click through really quickly, assuming that we have made some decisions. And what he says, yes, these are wonderful. No, those other ones are terrible. This one is not a match. That one is a match. We are clicking through, and remember, clicking into the address is going to give you all of that information about each of those homes. Let's see, there's one more question here. So it says there's a question that says on an MLS property has been found. Are you? I'm not really sure. We're looking. You said on the top where it says an off MLS property. I know there was maybe a section or on the top left here. Sometimes there will be a mismapped or a not mapped property. I'm not sure where that is, but will look into that. I have that question still up on my page. I will make sure to look through that a little bit more. And as far as another question, as far as the appraiser's radius, I've asked, and for the most part, they've told me about anywhere from a half mile to a mile, and it really does depend on the neighborhood. But a half mile to a mile is what most have told me before. So however you decide to qualify these homes, I would definitely recommend getting to a reasonable number on your list because you don't want your report to be terribly long. And you're going to want to go through and, edit this out. Once we do, the only thing left to do would be clicking on Save and Continue. And it just puts together a quick report. And I'll show you, this is just the custom theme color that I have. There are a few set on here for brokerages already that have worked with Remine. So if you work with one of them, that's great. You can click on one of those items. Otherwise, the rest of us will click on to custom, and you can choose whatever colors you like to be your primary color. You can play around and get whichever exact little color you want. There we go, and make that your main color and have it be like this. Play around, make it as unique as you would like. You can upload your company logo. You can add an agent picture. And that's just as simple as clicking on the button and then choosing. The hardest part, of course, obviously, sometimes is finding where your pictures are, but you want to locate your pictures, select, and then you can upload that in over here. You want to put the name of your client. And you'll see it adds it right over here. Prepared by, prepared for. The address, the date, your lovely picture, your contact information. And then we're going to go ahead and click on Save. And this is the report. Average days on market, list sold difference, estimated value. Some area demographics. The home valuation, I will give the qualifier that this information is, I guess, accurate as far as these sites are accurate. I was told that Remine updates these numbers immediately, as soon as these individual sites update their numbers. So that is why you can see such ranges like you'd see on here, and even over here as well. That's a huge jump from 500,000 to 716. So my personal opinion is I'm not really keen on the home valuation options here, just because I couldn't be guaranteed how often this information was updated. Everything else in the Remine system is updated on a very, very regular basis. Anything MLS, related is updated instantly. I think the schools, unfortunately, are only updated once a year, but that's just the way it is. The tax information, they get updated every 10 days, 10 to 12 days, I believe it is. So the data here is pretty good, and they stand by it, and even have a data currency in section that they show, just to prove that their information really is correct. Again, they just couldn't give us exact info on those. So I'd like to kind of just let you know that, since it is on the page. But as we continue down, you're going to see our comparable reports. Everything is here. We're looking at the solds. And of course, basic information here, list price, sold price. So they can see what the difference was. And here's the percentage to list. So 3% under list, right on par, 2% under. And so this can be helpful when deciding what you want to list your home for, because if you see that everyone in this neighborhood has been, doing some bargaining, then that means that people that want to buy your neighborhood, they're going to want to bargain too. Like, oh, no. Everyone else went like 2-3% below the asking price, so I want the same for myself, which would mean you may want to go just a touch higher, so that way you have that extra negotiation room if you see the neighborhood is all going that way. And yeah, I think that was a 4. Sorry, it's blocked under this little icon here, but this one went 4% under. So it's something to really to make note of when you're looking at these comps. Let's go to the pending section. And again, it's just a nice little report with everything listed. Now we can get to all of them and then go ahead and scroll through to see all of the information. And that is your comp report inside of Remine. And obviously, if we click on print, it's going to, yes, we want to print the images, and the print button. Let me just go back really quickly because I did click that. Now the report has been created. It's here in the top right. We're just viewing the report, and then our options would be here to print. Do we want to include the valuations? Yes or no? Like I said, I'm not a fan. I would click there for no, but that's up to you. If you wish to include those, that's perfectly fine. The pictures, usually you're going to want to print the pictures. Maybe you only have a black and white printer or something, and you don't want them to be distorted, so possibly turn it off for that reason. But otherwise, most times you're going to want to have the pictures. And then when you click on print, it's going to put together that PDF, and it's going to export this as a file. And a reason I wanted to show you this is because I don't want you to think that suddenly your printer is going to go. This happens here. The next window is going to say, well, where would you like this to be saved? I'm going to save it on my desktop, and then I'm going to have my report. And again, in the colors that I chose, with my info, the data for the schools, and everything else, just like I showed you on the other screen. With subject property information at the top, so you have it here to compare against each of the homes. So this is one other report that one other system that you can use to get a CMA. And again, you're going to see different results. I'm going to close out of here. Different results out of each system. You may want to make note of which ones you find in each system, and then maybe add them in, manually add them in. Let me see here. I got a question that says, why doesn't the report list some of the sold prices? I will go back and look at, you said some of the sold prices. There should be right here, saved here on my desktop. So let's see. Now, my only first guess is that unless we weren't down into any of the sold properties, maybe it was just still pending. But let's get down. So because this one's active section, and we're going to see active right here. So let's get down to pending, and then now sold. So now all of these should have the sold price from this point forward. And we're going to see the sold here, yeah, here and here. Yeah, now they should be on here. Most likely we were just at the top where, no, okay. Oh no, this one's under contract. Sorry, not sure why active under contract comes after sold. That's a little strange, but apparently that's just the way they put their their things in order. That is a little odd. I never noticed that honestly before. But yes, of course, only the sold ones will have that information, and so I think that may be what was seen. And I just wanted to see this other question from before. Yeah, and I think before about the off MLS property that matches, there are sometimes matches that come up in, oh, sorry, let me close this out, that come up in the discovery section, like, and I think maybe, is this maybe what was referred to? There are times when, and here I'll click on here to show you. So you can click on, or if this is what we're talking about here, and just as an FYI, for unmapped listings. So unmapped listing for 200 El Camino Real, number 98 and 00. So this one, because it couldn't find an address, usually it just means that it couldn't find, there wasn't a marker, or it couldn't find a marker based upon the address. Maybe there was a typo in the number and there isn't, maybe it's supposed to be 89. Possibly it's a condo building, or actually this is a mobile home park. So I don't think once you're in the mobile home park, I'm pretty sure they're individual streets, because this is near the neighborhood where I used to live, and so I recognize the address. At any rate, so if something can't be mapped for whatever reason by the address, it comes up over here, but it's saying, hey, we still might have some data, but for whatever reason, we can't find this located, but it still shows you the information here on the side. Sorry, I'm just reading another question. So it popped up across the top. Some of the MLS properties have been found. There may have just been something going on, maybe happening in our search. I will have to make note of that. Actually, what I'm going to do is I will rewatch the webinar afterwards, and I have your question still here on my page. So what I definitely will do is I will watch the webinar, and I will email you with an appropriate response. I can definitely do that. That way, I'll see exactly what you're talking about. And next, though, so we can get on to the next program, we're going to close out of Remine. I'm going to show you Flash CMA. Flash CMA is really simple. And I didn't want to click too fast, but on the dashboard, this is the one. And we're scheduled to be on the webinar for until about 10:30. And I'm going to, again, try to just finish up here with Flash CMA. Paragon, I was going to include if we had time at the end, and I will try to get back over, try to get back to that. I'm willing to stay a little bit past 10:30 if you all are. I'm always happy to talk. I totally understand if I see the numbers start to drop out after 10:30 because you all have work to do and you need to go and sell homes. So no worries there. But if you are able to stay, I will be more than happy to stay on for the extra 10 or 15 minutes in order to answer other questions and also to do the quick CMA um, in Paragon. So let's click on Flash. Flash CMA, as I said, we're working on getting you these extras again for free. However, the free version is pretty decent. It still puts everything together for you and gives you a good set of comps and gives you what other systems don't, which is really the adjustments, which I think is extremely valuable. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to click over there like that. So anyway, so this is the dashboard. This is where we first start. So on the very left-hand side are going to be your options. And it's truly only really a couple of options when you really look at it, because the dashboard is here and that's really just kind of their advertisement. And then we have create a new Flash CMA, which is where we're going to want to go. There is the saved CMAs if you had one in the past, but then the rest are different training options that they provide if you ever want to take any of their classes. Okay, so really just create and my saved Flash CMAs. Now I'm going to click on here first just so I can show you. I've made lots of CMAs. You've created and saved 11 Flash CMAs. Click here to create a Flash CMA, and that's because I don't see any here. That's because they're generally good for about 7 days. It wants you to come back in and rerun those comps because after a week, a lot of information may have changed. So let's click on create new Flash CMA. And we're going to get into this page. Now, I've asked to adjust this page. Asked the guy that created Flash CMA because right here, most of the time, you're not going to have an MLS number. Now, if you do, and you're on the market, maybe you're using this after the fact, and you want to make sure that you put your listing on the market at a good price. Sure, go ahead and type that MLS number in, and you'll get a great comp in no time flat really quickly. But in most cases, we need to bring our mouse down here and click here to use our own information. Subject property not on the MLS, click here to use your own. Select the property type. Again, here's our single detached or single family home. And I'm going to fill in information again on the same property. And again, I like to do this as an example as to, I think, what will be a great idea for you because you're going to find different results in each system. Only because it uses different criteria in each. And all of the fields seem to be required, so you will need to type something in. If you're not sure of a complex name or something, you can type in the city, the area. You can even go back to the Google map and turn on the neighborhood section and figure it out that way. Or, of course, just ask the client and see what he or she considers it to be. So let's put in the information about the home. We got a 5-bedroom, 3-bath. It was 2098 square feet. The lot, I want to say it was 6,400. There is no jacuzzi. The heating was central forced air. There is laundry in the garage. There is one fireplace. There's a private garage with 2 spaces, and there's a non-garage driveway that could fit at least 3 more cars. The home was built in 1981. The neighborhood is Orchard Creek. There were no HOA fees. There were no views, other than a little bit of a mountain into Camp Pendleton, but I don't think that technically really counts. So I'm not going to include that. Let's hit next step. At this point, you can bring a picture in of the home. I don't have a sample picture of a home to add in, so we will leave that one blank for now. Or actually, we can add in a picture of me sideways. That'll be like the picture of the home. We'll just do that. So that's really it when it comes to creating a Flash CMA. And we're going to just click here, Create Flash CMA. Pretty simple. And we did all of this in about 5 minutes. Now, every once in a while, this does happen, and I'm not sure exactly why. I usually get an accurate price when I put information in on this home. It usually comes up at about 600,000. I'm not sure why that one has come up. The only thing I can think of is that at this point in time, possibly it's not going to find anything active on the market, so it wasn't able to estimate the price. That's my guess, but I'm going to go ahead manually and type that in because I know that's the price that it normally comes up in the range of. And so I'm going to type that in myself and click on Import Subject. Now, while it's flashing and thinking and what have you, it's looking through the MLS to see if it can find any matches, any active matches, any pending matches, any contingent matches, anything sold. And it looks like in this case, and of course, here's this lovely house here. But in this case, it's found some sold properties, and it's found at least one, well, apparently 3 alternates. It has not found anything active. Otherwise, there'd be a box that said active or pending, or contingent here at the top as well. So right now we found 3 sold, 3 alternatives. So right now we're on the subject property. Again, this is our fake picture of the house, our subject property, and here are all the great details we put in about the home. What if we read something here and we say, oh, wait a second, no, I made a typo. That should have been 6,500, or let's click on adjust. And then we can look at the property information that we added in, be it the remarks, the images, the description, the adjustments, and really edit the property. Let's click Save. So this is the subject property. Let's click on Sold. It's going to show us what it considers to be the top 3 sold comps. It's searching the last 6 months. It's searching generally within a mile. I believe he said it can extend it out to 1.5 miles in certain instances because it wants to find a home that really is truly like yours. And so here we are. So this is what it's found. And now I definitely don't remember these addresses from the other 2 or 3 programs. So again, you're always going to find something a little bit different. So here are the solds that it found, okay? But overall, it's saying that it found 6. These 3 are the best. These are the alternates. So let's take a look at the alternates. So when these come up, you'll have a chance to take a look through. And maybe you know that this home is exactly like yours. Maybe it's the exact same model match. So you say, you know what? I want to put this in instead of number 3 because that one wasn't accurate. So let's switch out that one, that metal view one here, because that home doesn't really doesn't look accurate. Let's go back over here to our solds. Now we have this property here in spot 3. So you can customize from the alternates. Now, what if you want to add something that isn't here or here? Remember, I told you before, let's have a piece of paper and jot down those addresses, those MLS numbers of the properties that you are interested in that maybe you might want to add to your CMA. Because look at this button right here, add your own comp. Let's click on it, and there you go. You simply enter an MLS number and add comp. And there you go. The comp has been added into the system. Now, I don't think I actually, yes, 4 alternatives now. So here we go. So here is the alternative for the one that I typed in, because I want to include that one. So let's swap that with number 3. Now, again, it's completely, I just made up the number, but let's just say that was the perfect match. So there we go. I'm going to put that in over here. Yes, 18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there we go. Now I've added in my own property because that's the one that I want to put in here. However you want to adjust that, you can. Now I want to show you 2 things. This, like I said, this system really boasts, 1, that it's fast, and 2, it shows you adjustments. Now you can see this on the final report as well, but I want to also show you that you can see this on this page, view adjustments, so you can truly see if this home is a comparison. Here are the attributes of the home, and here are the adjustments. So this is saying here, so let's look, the square footage is 1723. We know that our subject property is just shy of 2100. So it's saying that it's adding in that 27,536 in value that should be adjusted to the home for the square footage. The subject property has an extra bathroom. We're going to adjust that up for 7,500. Now, apparently, the subject property is much older, so we're going to take away $18,000. The subject property doesn't have new appliances or vaulted ceilings. Actually, it does in the front part of the house, just not the entire house. So that could be something you'd argue, or maybe make your own adjustment back on your subject property and go back and put vaulted ceilings, because I did not add that on mine. So that could be something that we'd go back to do to our subject property. Let's go ahead back to our subject property, adjust subject, and let's vaulted soaring ceilings. I think that is the answer then, vaulted ceilings. And let's see here, new bath. We did put new bath and new appliances, new hardwood floors. Well, actually, no, there were laminate wood floors. So now we've put in those options as well. Let's go ahead and save. And now let's come back down to our solds. Let's view those adjustments. So now we're going to see it a little bit different. We're getting credit for a bath and new bath, so maybe we shouldn't have done that. But this is how you can adjust new laminate floors. So we're going to get that extra credit over here. So that's going to help to give extra value to our home. Let's go to the report. And the report itself is fairly simple. What I like about it is that it gives you your basic information at the top. Here are your attributes that you put in. And then here's the price right at the top. And it's based upon 3 recent solds. These 3 recent solds: Fairway, Del Mesa, and Del Flora. Now, we only have 3 comps. So even though there's another analysis, there's an analysis 2 and even analysis 3, these are the same properties. So unfortunately, it's pretty much going to be the same. However, the numbers seem to be different, just judging upon what features I think they are calculating. But overall, if you have a lot of results, a lot of sold, a lot of alternatives, you're going to see a good mix. In this case, it really is choosing the best, and I would stick with the analysis number one. But it's going to show all these comparisons. And then, of course, you can save your Flash CMA. Now, your ability currently would be just to print it out. And this is what your report would look like. So it's a great quick CMA. I'm not really thrilled with the presentation like this. If you upgrade with them, the presentation is pretty cool. They actually give you a hyperlink, and it's really flashy, and things are flying around the page, and it's kind of gets people's attention. So that is a nice option. However, they are charging for it. We're going to see if we can get it for you back for free, because they did provide it. They did give it to us for free for the first 3 or 4 or 5 months, and so we're going to try to get it back for you. So again, in the meantime, this report, while it's not the nicest looking, I come to Flash CMA for the adjustments. That's really why I like coming into the system, is so I can come here, go to the sold, look at, or even on the report, but in the sold section, and then view the adjustments and say, okay, well, maybe this is what this is worth here, or is this what something is worth in this area? I'm going to have to do some more research to figure that out, because maybe I don't think that I should take off $18,000 just because of the difference in years, or maybe we're going to find out that it needs to be more. That's something that you're going to unfortunately learn over time, that I can't teach you because I'm not a real estate agent. I just know how to use these programs. So again, Flash CMA, while it doesn't have a very robust report, I think it's amazing for the fact that it has adjustments for all of these properties, and you can see them side by side, and it's truly comparing the subject property against this one. And again, that's why I really tend to like this one program. All right. So now I know this is the end of class, and I appreciate everyone that's been here. I am going to stay on and go over the quick CMA. It shouldn't take more than another 5 to 7 minutes. I am just before anyone else does leave, please go to sdar.com, check out education calendar for any of the upcoming webinars. Come by next Friday for the next in the series for doing a comparative market analysis, and also check the calendar for classes that are coming up. Anything that I went too fast over, or you want to look through again, come to MLS, the MLS link, and then come down to Paragon training videos, and you'll find a lot of great videos there for you. If there are any videos that you can't find, please send an email to training@sdar.com. Again, that's training@sdar.com. If you let us know what you want a training video on, I will make it. I am happy to do so. So just let me know what else you need, and I will be happy to get that done. Now, without any further ado, anyone else that wants to stay on with me, I'm going to jump into Paragon really quickly, and we're going to do what's called a quick CMA. I love the quick CMA because it is fairly quick, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on Paragon here on the dashboard. So it is pretty quick, and it gives you comps for the neighborhood. We're going to see active and pending and sold and whatever is available in those statuses. The one thing it does not provide would be a way to add the subject property onto the report. Now, if your home is on the market and it's an active listing, or it's and if it fits the qualifiers, the criteria for the search, then absolutely it's going to come up in the criteria, because we're going to be searching on the map in a particular area for active, pending, and sold. And if your property is active, pending, or sold in that same time frame with that criteria, obviously, it's going to come up, and then we can put it onto the quick CMA. But in most cases, it's not going to be on the market. So that is one small thing that can't be included. However, this is the quick CMA. So we're going to start by clicking on search, and we're going to click residential. When the residential page opens up, you're going to be on your default residential page. You may have different criteria, and that's okay. Everyone's page starts out a little different. Now, I say, I used to always start by going to the mapping field first, but I've noticed that if you go to mapping first, you may see a delay. And I don't want to click on here and slow anything down, but basically, when you click on a map without any other criteria, it's just going to start searching for anything active or back on market in the entire mapped area. So it can cause a delay if your mapped area is a really large place. It can be beneficial to add in the details about the home first, then come back up to mapping. So let's click on here and let's put details in about our home. Residential styles is where we're going to say attached or detached. Now, I know that because I've worked in the system for 5 years, but maybe you're not aware of what a residential style is. Click on the magnifying glass to see what your options are. You can do that on any of the fields you see a magnifying glass. Just click on it and you'll see this box. Click anywhere on the line to select it. You can click on the box. You don't have to click on the box. You can click over here, whatever. It doesn't so much matter. As long as you're on the line. And now it's selected, we're going to click on save. Save just means we're adding it to this field. It hasn't actually saved anything as far as a search, nothing like that. Just add that information into the field. Now, county, zip, market area, those are location markers. We're going to deal with the location with the map, so we don't have to worry about those fields. Let's get past that. Here in status, we have active and back on market. Back on market is an active status. It means that the home was either withdrawn or pending within the last 7 days. However, it is active and they are trying to get it sold, accepting offers. I would highly encourage you to include this whenever you're doing an active search or a comp search, because they are active. Now, for training purposes, I'm going to click on the magnifying glass. Now, I know that I want pending and sold, but I want to click on here just to show you how the statuses are broken down. So active actually means, well, I should say the one and active is truly what's called all active. And all active is the active status that we talked about, obviously, the back on market that I just discussed, and then contingent. They are accepting offers. May be beneficial to include that in your search. You would want to also include pending and sold. No need for rented. Sometimes, I think I mentioned it before, expired can be included if you want to make sure not to overprice your home. Maybe you want to see what's been going off the market recently in this neighborhood that has not sold. Something to consider if maybe if your home has been on the market for a little while. But for the most part, we're going to stay active, pending, and sold. All active, pending, and sold. Let's click save, remembering that that tiny save button is just entering information in, not really saving the information into the system. Okay? Oops, sorry about that. I moved my computer. There we go. All right. Now, as we come down here, we're going to get into the date ranges. The date ranges are really, really, really important. And you're going to notice this is still counting and thinking and counting and thinking, because again, we've only put in detached, active, back on market, contingent, pending, and sold. We haven't put in any location. And so the map is kind of getting a little scary and scared. So that's why it's showing a 0 and that it can't find anything. And we know clearly there are probably millions of homes that have been sold, but that's okay. Don't be alarmed by that. We're going to continue on and put in more data, and we're going to get a great number in just a little bit. So let's come down here to close of escrow date range. I'd say let's go to date range all the way here on the right. Let's do our close of escrow date range back 6 months. Okay, that's going to narrow down our list of results, and look, oh, we got a manageable number. And I'm just joking here. Obviously, that's still way too high. It's looking through every single thing in the system. So still a lot of information. But again, moving a lot faster here than it would on the map. So I think it's beneficial to put your information in first. I'm going to put a minimum of 4 bedrooms and a maximum of 6. We have a 5-bedroom home. It's a 3-bathroom home. So let's do a minimum of 2, a maximum of 4. Let's click outside. Let's let that think some more. We know the square footage is about 2,100 square feet. So let's do 1,800 to 23, no, we'll do 2,400 square feet. Okay, great. And the number is going to keep on going down. So now we've done plenty. Let's go ahead and click on the map right here on the top and draw our shape. What I like to do once the map has come up is click right here in the middle, center map on address. We need to center the map on our address so we can draw a radius of a certain distance around that property. Whatever number we type into this box and click draw, no matter when we do it, it's going to draw something in the center of the map. As a matter of fact, I'll show you just really quickly here, 0.5. When we do that, it's going to just draw right in the center of the map, okay? Now, that's why it's so important, and we're going to click Edit and X to erase. That's why it's so important to move the map first before we type in over here. So let's type in our address. And in most cases, it's a good idea to put in the zip code or the city just to make sure you're getting the correct address. And then you're going to want to make sure, again, we need to make sure we move to the address first. So we're going to click on the magnifying glass here, or use the Enter key on your keyboard since you're typing. If it's more comfortable, you can do that as well. Either way, the map's going to move. We're going to see a flag over our address. Now, as much as you want to, I know you'll want to zoom in or move it and try to get closer and see a little better. But just try to resist for just a moment, because remember, we want to make sure that the address is left in the center so we can use this box to draw a radius around the center point. So that's why I like to kind of go ahead up here and show you how that works first before actually drawing it. So let's go ahead here to 0.5. And let's click draw. And as you're seeing, I put 0.5 here. You can use decimal points. That will be a half mile. You can even go 0.75 and do 3/4 of a mile. That would be perfectly fine as well. Whatever you choose, we're going to click on draw. And remember, it's going to draw that radius from the center of the map. Remembering that, so from here to there, 3/4 of a mile, here to here, 3/4 of a mile. It's searching a good amount of distance. As I mentioned before, I know that the homes up here are a little bit different, or a little different. The ones over here are a bit newer. Then there's a whole bunch of mobile homes over in this area. So that's why it's important to know the area, know how large of a radius you really want or need, because a half mile most likely would be perfectly fine for this neighborhood. But then again, as I mentioned, our house is a bit different than the homes in the neighborhood, so you may want to go out a little farther. So again, a lot of ifs, I know, but really important to know the neighborhood and to know all of these systems. So let's go ahead and leave it at the 3/4 of a mile. We see we have 13 matches that are either active, pending, or sold. And at this point, we've typed in all the criteria already. We can just click right here on Run Search, and we're going to see those 13 matches. Now, before I click on Run Search, I do want to show you that you can get back to the criteria page over here. What if this number were, say, 65? And well, we can't, and we don't want to go any smaller, so we need to put more criteria in. That's what clicking on this button would do. It takes us right back in here. Maybe we want to put in a year built to make the number go down a little lower. But let's click on Run Results. You can do run results or the search button. I sometimes, I click on both. Either way, you're going to see the results and they come up. This page automatically sorts with the status by status, zip, and price is the order. So active first. So you're seeing active and then the lowest numbers going up, and contingent, pending, and so on. And you'll see the prices. Mine are a little bit farther down on the side. You can always change that order and customize your own page. So I show you this to let you know that all the statuses are here on the page that it's found. And we're going to see the stats, but these are the general stats for everything on the page. I think it's a good idea to use the MLS numbers to qualify your results along with the other data here on the page to get rid of homes that are not like yours. So let's say, I think it's easier to go ahead and select them all, use the select all, and then let's take the check marks away of the ones that we don't want. Maybe this one is too small. Maybe this one here. Let's see. Maybe this one here is too small. Maybe it will say that this other one down here is too large, and we can decide for whatever reason. Remembering to click on the MLS number. You can go ahead in here and read up on the property. You can click on the picture and look through. Make sure that it really is a match. Whatever you need to do, I'm going to click back to get back to the property system grid. Whatever you need to do to make sure that you find the appropriate properties that you need. So I'm gonna, let's say maybe we're gonna remove that one and this one. We have a contingent, a pending, and let's look at these 4 sold. Okay, or 3 sold, that'll be perfect. So we've got 2 active, a pending, and 3 sold. And we've looked through and decided that these are the ones. So I've clicked on these, but you didn't really see anything else change. I've only selected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yet it says listing count 13. What we want to do after you've made your selection, use the button here called checked. This will eliminate all of the unchecked items. So now we only see the ones that are checked, and it's adjusted these numbers. So now we have 6, the high days on market 99, the low of 5. Here's our average. Again with the price, the highest list price, the highest sold price, and on down the list. Now it is still separated by status and zip and price. However, the quick CMA report is available to you, and it's going to separate these statuses out and give you statistics for each of the statuses individually. Let's click on the reports button. Oops, pardon me, I'm sorry that is ringing there. Unfortunately, there's someone trying to send me spam. So whenever you have these results on your page, any results after a search, you can always view them in many different ways. This property system grid is just the first way we view the report. This whole list, there are about 50 or so reports. There's going to have all of the same data, but formatted in a different manner. So here we see this data formatted like this. If we were to go to the agent preferred one, we'd see all the same data, obviously only one listing per page because it's formatted in this manner. It's the same information, but put in this format. So we'd have to scroll to the next page to get to the next one. So feel free, never be scared about clicking on items in the reports, just different views of the same information. And you can always click back and you're going to get back to the safe spot to where you started. So, venture out, look through these reports. you're going to find that, oh my gosh, I really like this report. Oh no, I hate that report. Oh wait, I like this one. Oh no, I don't like that one. And then you can just drag them up into your favorites. If maybe over time, you're going to we're working in the CMA folder right now. And I like the CMA summary. So maybe I just want to move it up to the top so I don't have to come down here every single time to move it. Maybe I just want to click on it, click and hold, and then drag it up. And you see how that little line moves? And then you can release it, not in here, unfortunately, but you're going to release it into your favorites, anywhere in the top. And at this point, now it's here, you can move it up and down, wherever you want in the list. So again, if you have it in your favorites, it can be there. If you want to remove it from the favorites, that's what that little star X on the star is for. And it's going to go right back down to the CMA folder. Okay, quick little side lesson. So there we are. We're going to click on CMA Summary. And this is the quick CMA Summary report. You're going to get your details right here at the top. The high, low, average, and median. And I want to point out something else. Depending on the number of listings you have in each section, you're going to see different stats, or won't see stats at all. Notice here in the active section, there are 2 results. Okay, there's 1 here in the pending, and there are 3 in the sold. Now, I want you to look at the sold section. There are 3 listings here. There's a minimum that has, so let's see, a minimum bedrooms 4, because that's the lowest number of bedrooms. The maximum number is 5. There's the median. Okay, and it's showing because there's one of them is high, one of them is, or excuse me, one of them is low, and then they average to make, they add them together and then divide to get the average. The median to me is fairly useless, but you know, they add the numbers together and then divide by, say, 3 to get your average. Because there are 3, they can do that. If we look over here, there are 2 properties, and we only see an average section. We don't have the minimum, the maximum, or the median. Well, that's because we can tell immediately this is the minimum, that's the maximum, because we're looking at those fields. And then it's showing us the average because it does add those numbers together and then divides to give you an answer. Now this one here, there's only 1, so there is no average or high or low or median because they're all the same. And that's why each of the sections looks a little different. So don't be alarmed if it appears as if you're missing information on any of these reports. Okay, one last thing before we finish up is your information is going to be down here in the bottom, and also the details on the search criteria, the date and time. And again, so this is just a quick CMA. It's really helpful. You can do it really quickly. You can print this report, you can save it, you can share it. The only thing that you can't do with this report is add your subject property to it unless it happens to meet the qualifications of the search. So again, I thank everyone for coming. And so again, those couple of questions that I have to look up, I have taken a screenshot of those, and I'm going to get back to you once I have an appropriate answer. Please come back next Friday for our next CMA lesson, and check back next Thursday. I believe we are going over CRS Tax 101, the basics, and then going into advanced options. I believe next Thursday from 9 to 10, and then 10:30 to 11:30. This has been Ian, your SD MLS and SDAR trainer. Thanking you for joining me today, and I hope to see you next week. Have a great, great weekend.